So fear is back, but meaning is also back. That's the good news. So what is the meaning of life ultimately? It's experience, and it's what you learn from experience.
Assalamu alaikum guys. So in this video I want to share some thoughts with you in regards to analytic idealism, but in particular Bernardo Kastrup's views in regards to the meaning of life on analytic idealism. In a short video which I'll link in the description box below, he suggests that with analytic idealism you can bring back the meaning of life, which is essential for human beings. Now, I want to analyze this and sort of break this down for you and just share my thoughts in regards to this. The very first thing I want to highlight that, sure, on analytic idealism as compared to materialism, it does broaden the horizons. You know, it does allow for one to engage the question of meaning a little bit more. However, I believe it's not adequate. And here are my reasons as to why that's the case. Firstly, just in a nutshell, to appreciate what I'm talking about, analytic idealism generally is suggesting the idea that fundamentally reality, or the fundamental essence of reality, is subjectivity, it's consciousness, it's awareness that creates this material reality. And it's not the other way around, as the materialists would suggest. And therefore, Bernardo goes on to suggest that because that's the case, our subjectivity continues after death. Our consciousness carries on after death. And therefore, according to him, the meaning of life is experience. It's to gain experience. It's to gain knowledge. It's to gain wisdom and so on, which carries on with you after you die. And then he further goes on to suggest that this knowledge and experience you gain becomes a part of this universal consciousness or subjectivity. Now, there are many issues with this view. The very first thing we can think about or recognize here is that, well, hold on a second. If your subjectivity and consciousness, which is at the base of everything, creates this material reality that we perceive, in which he is suggesting that we gain experience in or gain knowledge from, it's within this material world, but that itself is a creation of the inner subjective self. Well, then if that's the case, you're not really gaining knowledge from an external source, being the material world that we live in today. It's already within us, because the material world is a projection of the inner self. It's from the inside. So therefore, all of that knowledge and experience we gain is already there within this awareness, this consciousness. It's just manifesting out. So there is a problem right there, which is, well, if you're saying the purpose of life is to gain experiences and knowledge, well, we're not gaining anything. It's already there. That is somewhat of an issue, and I'm sure there's ways around that. But that's the first thing to consider. The second issue is that it's speculation. That's all it is. He himself says in the video that we don't know what happens after death. No one's died and come back. We don't know what's going to happen after we die. So to suggest that, you know, our experiences and knowledge, one, carry on with us, and two, they become a part of this universal consciousness, this ultimate reality, well, this is purely speculation. Therefore is an issue. There's no substantial reasons to believe that this is the case. And therefore to claim that we have now the meaning of life is not necessarily true. Thirdly, the issue here is that even if we grant that on analytic idealism you can account for the meaning of life, right? Even if you entertain that for a second, the fundamental issue that analytic idealism will still face, which materialists face too, is that the ultimate meaning of life cannot come from us. We cannot know the answers to that question. It has to come from the source that created us. In Bernardo's case, this ultimate, you know, universal, singular consciousness or subjectivity that he refers to. It has to come from that source. So therefore, the analytic idealist has to acknowledge a couple of things. Number one, that this source has knowledge, has a will, can choose, and therefore chose to create us with a purpose. And two, they have to acknowledge that this source revealed what our purpose is to us. Because again, it won't come from us. We didn't make ourselves. So it has to be revealed. It has to be told to us. So until and unless the analytic idealist is willing to acknowledge these things, they can't really fully start to grapple with the ultimate meaning of life. And these are just a couple of issues with this view. So in a nutshell, I don't believe that analytic idealism in the grand scheme of things is really helping humanity with the ultimate meaning of life. Sure, it broadens the horizons a bit. It allows for more speculation in regards to the meaning of life, but it doesn't provide you with what the ultimate meaning of life is. Now, in comparison, Islam, for example, is revealed. It's a revealed religion, and therefore we also believe, or we have good reasons to believe, that the Quran, which we believe is revelation from God, is from God. And this is a topic for another video. We have lots of proofs, and again, I'll link a book in the description box below, which you guys can go and read further on in regards to the proofs, or what we refer to as some of the miracles of the Quran. And that's for yourselves to do. But the point is that we believe, number one, it's revealed from that ultimate source, that creator, that cause, that created everything. And therefore, this source is the source that's going to provide us with these answers. And the answer the Quran gives us in regards to the meaning of life is that we were created fundamentally to worship this creator, to know and worship this creator. So yes, experience and knowledge has a role in that ultimate objective of humanity, because when we're in this world, we experience this world through our senses, we engage with this world, and through studying the world, we learn something about this creative power, this creator that's behind everything. And we can also engage with revelation through our senses. We can also engage in revelation sent to us. We can also use our reason and engage with what's being said. So we can act upon it, which acts, the revelation itself is guidance for humanity, for us, so we can be successful in this life. The Quran also highlights to us that the objective of this life, us being here, is so that we're tested, where it's going to be seen that can we, as rational, intelligent human beings with senses, can we gain knowledge? Can we understand things? Can we do what's right? Can we do the things which equate to worshipping this creator, and avoid things which take us away from the creator? As the Quran says, that God created life and death to test which of us is best in action. And then on the Day of Judgment, once we die and we go on with the things that we've done, not only our experiences, but our actions, then we will be judged, and we will be judged justly. And if we look at the world around us, the universe, we see that on one level there is immense order. We know that there are the laws of physics, mathematics, there is uniformity within nature. There are laws that govern our universe. And these things, again, act as signposts for the intelligent human being to recognize that there is a cause, there's an ultimate cause behind all of this. But secondly, on another level, there is what you can say or refer to as chaos. There are trials, there are tribulations, there are hardships, which do act as a test for humanity to see what we're going to do as human beings. So when we look at the world around us and we analyze it, and we look at what the Quran says in regards to man, life, and the universe, we see that it fits, it's a match. That in itself can act as a great proof for many people. So in a nutshell, I would say not only do we have proofs for the Quran being revelation from this ultimate reality, this cause, this creator, but the Quran also, its claims are in line with what we perceive about the world around us. And when it comes to, what we believe as Muslims in regards to this world, do we take the materialist perspective or the idealist perspective? Again, that's another topic for another video. But just in a nutshell, what I would say here, and something for us to consider, is that Islam doesn't fit perfectly into any of these two categories. It's somewhere in the middle. So we do believe that there is this existence around us, the true nature of which only God knows. But we also believe that there is a purpose behind this existence, that it has a function, and we have a function within it, and there is a purpose behind it, and that when we die, that there is a judgment based on what we did here in this world, and there's an ultimate abode for humanity based on what they did. So just things for us to consider. I will soon eventually do another video, a bit more of a detailed video in regards to, how close, if you like, is Islam to this idealist view or this materialist view. But just for now, what we need to appreciate that it's neither or. It's not, we're completely in line with materialism, because obviously from a materialist perspective, they just say it's only matter and motion. There is no creator, there is no cause, there's nothing behind this physical material universe. And the idealists will say, well, there is no real material universe. There is just consciousness. And some would even say that our consciousness is a part of this ultimate consciousness, and it starts to get a bit messy from that perspective. But anyway, just some thoughts. Inshallah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And just again, to summarize and reiterate the point, that analytical idealism, although it broadens the horizons and allows for us to engage the question of meaning, at the end of the day, from a pragmatic standpoint, a practical standpoint, it doesn't provide you with the ultimate meaning of life. And that can never happen unless we acknowledge an ultimate reality, we acknowledge God, and we acknowledge that He sent revelation to us. In the absence of revelation, humanity can never know its ultimate purpose, why it was created, why we exist here. I'll speak to you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum.